The post workout, I feel like a rock. Feel like a rock. Yeah, it was horrible. I do the same thing every day. If you didn't catch my live before, that's fine. But I detailed a little bit about my workout, what I just went and did. So when I was lighter, I had more stamina and energy, so I could do everything in about an hour and a half. So over the summer, I got thinner, and I was doing everything about an hour and a half. This was just legs, and for those who are serious about things of this nature, it's not really about the volume; it's about the quality. It really is. When they say that corny phrase, it really is about the quality. So, like, you could do 5 sets of 10, right? But you're probably not doing 5 sets of 10 or 225, unless you're like 6'8", and even then, those are not the ones that do it. But like 6'8", 400 pounds or something. You're probably not doing, that. And then on top of that, the quality means when you're handling the weight, don't just do this. You know, it takes time, but do this. You know, this and then squeeze. Whatever it is you're doing, slow, steady, control the weight, squeeze. Like when you do pull-ups, you can't just jack yourself up there. You gotta grab onto it and go with it. Mm, you gotta feel it. And then when you do get up there, quality, right? And the way you increase quality for pull-ups is you control how your body looks when you're going up. You're not just like diagonal or whatnot. And then when you do get up there, you hold it and you count 1, 2, 3. If you get the 5, you get the 10, perfect. And also, it's easier to hold it all the way up versus it's easier to hold it halfway down or three or a quarter down. 3 quarters down, that's you're basically dead hanging, right? So it's better. It's harder to hold it halfway down, or better yet, even like a quarter down. So like you're coming back down, you're like here, and then halfway would be like here or something, right? So and then hold it there. So the corny saying quality over quantity is very true in many regards. You know, for example, this saying haunted me for a long time after my close professor told me, and it's called and it's a jack of all trades. He called me a jack of all trades, and so for the next nearly 5 years after that, I was very self-conscious about that, being a jack of all trades but a master of none. And I saw so many features of that throughout my life. I'm like, wow, I'm an engineer, yet here I am, president of it is an engineering society, but then here I am, vice president of a legal society. I was vice president of Phi Delta Phi, you know, and and then here I am doing sports. Here I am still like years later. I go to work and I still go to the gym during lunch. I don't eat during lunch. I go to the gym during lunch. So here I am doing all these different things. Like right now, currently, right? I had. Not only did I get into having an aquarium, like the 5 gallon PetSmart, I went from 5 to 10 to 30 to 75 to 90, and then I skipped 150. I skipped 250. I went straight to 400 gallons. I did that. The freshwater, the saltwater. Now I'm doing archery. Now I'm making videos, YouTubing, right? It's like, wow, I'm a jack of all trades or a master of none. My YouTube page isn't like 3 million people subscribed. It's not 100,000. It's not 10,000. You know, it's about apparently actually gained a couple of subscribers. I'm sitting at 1,130, and I'm so appreciative of everybody that joined because it's like I joined like a hundred, like 120 people came on board in the last 120 people came on board. I think because I dropped the video, the color purple, about the color purple, and I got 1,500 views from there. So I think a lot of people joined from that video. So I'm really grateful for everybody who joined in the last 2 weeks. And so when you look at that, you go, wow, is it that I do things and then I do them to a point where I get to a degree where I'm like excellent and then I move on, or do I do them halfway? And I met a young lady yesterday. She is actually a Muslim sister, and she was saying she has ADHD and whatnot. But this is after like we were on the phone for like 4.5 hours, nearly 5 hours, and this is after like 3 hours of the conversation. And when she said that, I asked her like, "What is ADHD? What is ADD?" I know I have a sense. I know like I've been around it. I know, but I want to know like what she thinks it is because she was talking about she cures it with herbs and whatnot. She said she attributes it to her being a little bit more better about it through prayer and taking herbs like tea in the morning. She says every morning she starts off with like honey and some herbs, and that helps out. So she gave me her definition of what she thought it was. Said she said she has ADD, so it's like a brain thing, and it's not necessarily just like you don't see the hyper, but it's going on. That's her. That's literally her definition. So and then she said, but a lot of people don't notice. And I said, honestly, I did notice, and I took notes, but I didn't know what to really call it and define it. So you did? I'm like, yeah. So for example, she said that she loves to read. Perfect. That's awesome to read. She said she has to have something in her hand. She loves to read. She said one day she wants a library. But a library means that you have 1,000 books. And I was like, you've read all of them? She says that was a key question, and I did it subconsciously. She said, no, I haven't read all of them. There are books in there I've read. There are books I've halfway read. And there are books I'll never read. So this in my head was like, oh, you're a hoarder. I don't have a lot of books. I do have a good number of books. I have, let's say, 50 books. However, I've read all those books. And let's say I haven't read maybe 10 of them. If we were having a conversation and something came up, I could grab the book that I have not read and give it to you and say, this is a good book for you. You know? So in my head, I was like, oh, hoarding. And then she later on tells me it's like she's a graphic designer, that she has so many different projects she's done, but then from time to time, like she never finishes them. And so I told her, hey, maybe you need a graveyard. Excuse me, maybe you could turn your graveyard into art. Like bring it all together and sell it as art. Because years ago, I used to believe that if you, let's say, draw something on a piece of paper, that is you. And so let's say you disappear and we look for you, we can't find you. We could take that doodle of yours and recreate who you are. So I've always believed in stuff like that. That's my personal belief. It's not nothing to do with religion or voodoo or whatever. That's my take from life, right? That especially that is who you were in that moment of time. And and it's mathematical, by having just a reference point, you can later on go and find the whole. And you can look at angles, whatever, and you'll see what I'm talking about is also mathematical. So maybe that's where I know, originally got it from subconsciously. Anyways, so the whole library concept, she's an artist, does graphic designing, but sometimes she doesn't finish her work, all that. I, I was starting to get like a sense of, there's something going on here. Meanwhile, I'm accused of being a jack of all trades but master of none. However, I do finish my work. I'm very dedicated, and I sit and I focus for days. I mean, for hours, days, months, years. You know, I was it. I forget his name, but the guy who lost like 500 pounds, and they asked him, "How long do you run?" And they were like, "How many hours do you run?" And he said, "I run for." And he was just like, "How many hours?" Like minutes, hours. And he said, "Days." He's like, "Days." He's like, "Days." So I really do focus, um, and I accomplish things. I really do. So later on in my life, I came to realize that there's a bigger saying to that. Like I stumbled onto it. So it's a master, and I stumbled this during my depression. I was very sad, and I was feeling like I wasn't a good brother. I was a terrible person, terrible human being, yada yada. People running away from me. That's the impression I got from the world. And then I come to bubble it down. It wasn't necessarily the world; it was actually women. I got that impression from women, and the most powerful women in my life are the closest ones to me. So my sisters, or women I've had to, or women I've tried to pursue and court for years. And those people gave me such a bad rep. But whenever I'm speaking to anybody else, I'm interacting with other people, I'm a great person. So it wasn't adding up. So, like, for example, being called arrogant or cocky, it's like, why would you, where is arrogant and cocky coming from? Like, I think I'm pretty humble. I'm a very humble person. I'm the type of guy that give you a dollar, my last dollar. Like, there are certain things I like. Like, I love this car. I really like my car. It's a Ford Mustang. It's a GT. And when I was younger, I had a V6 that my mom got me. I really appreciate it. So when I got this car, I didn't even go out to get it. It was 0% during COVID, and I was gonna go buy my sister a car, and I saw it, and I was like, let me grab this. Um, and I got it in red. Just I had the options, and I got it in red to honor my mom. That's about it. So there's a larger saying, and the saying is, a jack of all trade, a master of none, is but still better than a master of one. And that's what I am. I'm an engineer. For years, I was a scientist. I was working for a pharmaceutical, a large pharmaceutical. I was very successful in that while being an engineer, and the landlord. You know, not just flipping homes is one thing. Another thing is being a long-term landlord. You have to be able to fix everything. Whereas flipping a home is you fix what you obviously see and the key points that you think will make the value of the home go up. But a lot portion of it you can just put duct tape on it. However, I'm not trying to do that, and also I don't have the funds to go in and do that. So I have to save up money, be frugal, be calculated, and my repairs be calculated. And things just break. Things that have been around for years just break. Everything breaks once or twice, you know, and I have to fix it, and I have to fix it again. So just being a landlord, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, I'm a landscaper. Right now I'm trying to get solar panels on my roof because I figure I can generate $450 of rent from it, from solar power and selling it back to to the power company. Because out of that 450, 180 plus dollars is just them. Is them service is the service fee. Is them bringing me the electricity. So that goes away immediately, and so I may be able to, after like getting rid of that whole bill, have some residual income coming by selling power to the electric company. So I not only want to get solar panels, but I want to get such a large number of solar panels where I'm producing power. And yeah, it's expensive, but it's me putting money into something that's gonna pay me back. And they fix everything. Anything breaks, they fix it. And electricity covered. And then for the next 30 years, my roof is bringing me insurance, and they give me a roof insurance on top of that. So that replenishes the one I already had. So in the future, when I do need a new roof, that should be fine. But regardless, we'll get to there. And so I'm a master. I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none, but a better than a master of one. And there's actually even a longer one than that, but I don't remember at the moment. And I really just call it being a man, being productive. Problems come up, and I have to learn how to fix those problems. When your mom, when your sister, when your girlfriend, your wife, your dog, when they have problems, you can't, as a man, just say, "Hey, I'm a man. I'm plumber man. I'm electrician man." You know, you have to say, "All right, I'm a man. I'm gonna fix your problem." All right, gonna go back into work here.